Is your home an ADT home? If not, you have to get ADT and help protect against break-ins, fire, and carbon monoxide. For a limited time, get ADT's lowest rate starting at just $28.99 a month from the most trusted name in home security. Go to ADT.com/podcast to take advantage of ADT's lowest rate.
With 36-month monitoring contract, early termination and installation fees apply. Excludes taxes and fees. Applies to traditional services only. Certain markets excluded. Licenses available at ADT.com.
Listen up, people. We have a big favor to ask, and we promise it won't take up too much of your time. You know, our show is supported by some fantastic sponsors, right? Well, we'd love to hear your feedback. Head to ESPNPodcastStudy.com and fill out a short, anonymous survey. That's it. We swear, again, that's ESPNPodcastStudy.com.
Degenerates, Mike Ryan and Stugotz.
Wow.
Talking gambling at 8:57 in the morning on World Cup soccer. Stugotz, do you even know who's playing right now? Do you know the two teams that are playing?
Only because I have a bet on the two teams that are playing right now, and Mike and I have been talking gambling since 7:30 this morning. Let's be clear, okay? Privately.
The Columbia price tumbled upon the news that Hamas wasn't starting, Dan.
Oh.
You gotta strike when you get a price that good on Columbia. However, didn't see the straight red card coming and ensuing penalty kick 4 minutes into the game. That was a tough hurdle to clear.
I mean, Mike is texting me play-by-play, so I have Columbia, right, to win the game?
You have Columbia, who is shorthanded, and has been
shorthanded?
Since the fourth minute.
What do you mean? They play the entire game shorthanded?
Carlos Sanchez took a really dumb red.
Yeah, dumb handball.
So he's out for the game?
He's out for the game. He's out for the next game. They'll obviously have 11 to start the next game. But they are down to 10 men for the rest of the game and have been since the fourth minute.
So I take Colombia over Japan, and 4 minutes in, Mike texts me this news that, hey, they're down a man, they're shorthanded for the entire game, and they have a PK, and they converted the PK 1-0 Japan.
I got to tell you that this time of year in South Florida, I love so much. And it's only once every 4 years, but at this time of year where we are such an international city and people love this thing so much that you're walking past bars at 8 o'clock in the morning filled with Colombians at 8 o'clock in the morning. And,
cool.
I mean, we do this better than any city in the country.
There's a half a dozen Colombian fans downstairs at the Cleveland.
Yeah, right now, drinking downstairs.
Top 5 in both English and Spanish language in terms of television ratings for this World Cup.
I think we should, in honor of that, do day drinking around here. World Cup, siesta, Barcelona. I think.
Are you just rattling off random soccer words you know?
Well, no, those are siestas. I was thinking about what I was thinking about is how wonderful the Spaniards are at soccer, and Barcelona rests in the afternoon after watching games all day.
Did you just call it soccer? What is happening?
Barcelona.
What is going on? Man?
Barcelona.
You know they're not in the World Cup, right? It's Spain. That's a city in Spain.
I understand.
It's countries that compete against each other in the World Cup.
I was thinking of Barca. So Greg Cote of the Miami Herald is in with us.
Hi, everybody. Hi. Good morning.
Hey, Greg.
Good morning, everyone. Happy to be here.
Good to see you're still with us.
Glad to see you. All right.
Greg Cutie.
You're
live.
Yeah.
Greg Cutie.
Let's not resurrect that old nickname.
He's still coughing.
No, I'm not.
Greg, I saw you today. No, I'm
It's
not.
a little better. I mean, it's a little bit.
Dumb fight. Well, there's dust mites in this building the size of horses. That's ridiculous.
So the last 3 weeks, Greg Cote.
Probably should have said horse flies. Would have been a little closer to the truth.
Greg Cote. he's had a very bad contagious cough.
Memorex. They still make Memorex? That's not me. I'm going to sue for libel. Dumb fight. I am fine. Dumb fight.
Are you going?
Quit that. Dumb fight. Enough already.
Is it contagious for anyone else, or is it only me? Every week it gets me. Every week this cough gets me. What's that the sound of? Is it Popeye drowning? What is the what? How does that exist inside someone?
How I'm coughing, man.
It is totally contagious. Oh. It is.
It's the sound of me coughing while about to speak.
Roy, you're coughing.
I'm fine.
We're all fine. Roy, I don't think I've ever seen you cough. Roy is having a total coughing fit.
I'm fine.
Why isn't Roy's mic on? He's coughing into his sleeve.
I'm in an insane asylum right now.
That's a great point. I've never seen Roy cough. Great observation.
I have never, ever seen Roy have any sort of physical malady. So, Greg, if you were doing a radio show in June in South Florida.
He is.
And what you had in the middle of June in South Florida was the Marlins beat the Giants last night.
It was a game, though, my friend.
Oh, my God.
I missed it, but I'm reading all about what happened. Do you know what happened yesterday or no?
I know how it ended, baby.
Bryn Daddy doing it again. Bryn Diesel came up, tied the game with an RBI single. Now, that's nice enough as it is, right? 2 for 3 yesterday, got on base 3 times. Good game for him. But what happened in the at-bat? Hunter Strickland threw up and in at him first pitch. So when he gets the single, RBI single to tie the game, pimps it with a bat flip, running down first base. Then the next batter comes up. Mickey Rojas yesterday, 3 RBIs. Great game for him. So Bryn Diesel's on third base, and Hunter Strickland, when he gets taken out, decides to walk in the third base entrance to the dugout instead of the one closer to home plate and says something to Brinson. And Brinson, you can read his lips, FOH Hunter Strickland, and he just waves him off as he's entering the dugout.
FOH!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're really hurting his confidence, I can see.
I'm all in for Brinson being this cocky swagger guy. This is great. A great development.
All the things you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
You look up to the people that you can't be, Dan. You want to be people you can't be. I want to be Lewis Brinson when I grow up, even though I'm older than him.
All these people that were saying we were hurting him by doing this. I just want to rub it in all their faces. He's hitting like 400 since this started.
You want to take credit for it?
Well, Billy and I and everybody, this show
improved his mental strength.
He's the best, man. He's so great. And if he starts getting good, he's doing good in June. He's hitting over 300. He has like a 900 OPS in June, which is great. Now, if this is sustainable and he's actually good and he becomes like cocky swagger guy,
well,
man.
he ropes the ball. Like he doesn't make contact all that often, but when he does, like you could see all the speed and promise in his swing.
There was a stat that he's hit like this month, like this little run that he's on. He's hitting the ball harder than Stanton did all of last season. Now, I mean, obviously it's a tiny sample size.
No, but
it's a couple games.
but
They robbed the Yanks, man.
When you talk about the people
that was a different trade.
Whatever. There's so many deals. I'm confused. I'm sorry.
Go on, Dan.
Thank you.
It was the Yelich deal.
In terms of guys who have played for the Marlins, who have been crazy hitters of ropes, Cliff Floyd, Gary Sheffield. What'd you say?
Roping it. I did murmur that. I don't know why. Roping it. How's that?
All right, let's try this again. Yeah. Cliff Floyd.
Roping it.
Gary Sheffield.
Roping it.
Giancarlo Stanton.
Roping it.
Lewis Brinson.
Roping it.
Has he already made it onto like the Marlins Mount Rushmore of roping it?
That's a good question.
He's there, man.
I mean, Sheffield is firmly there, right?
He's at the foot of the mountain, but he's climbing, baby.
He is.
Guillermo, get back in here and say that again. What did you intend to say there?
Well, I was going to say someone who hits ropes, but that's not as efficient, so I used like 7 words instead, and I started saying ropers, and then I decided that's not a great word, so then I tried to say roping-itters, and that's even worse. There needs to be a word for this.
All right.
But he's up there. I think we can agree.
Penalty box, 2 minutes. Get out of here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Who can forget Mike Jacobs?
Oh, yeah.
Rope City.
Mike Jacobs is the Marlins manager.
Get out of here. Get out of here. You don't get to put your headset back on and sit down. Go to the penalty box.
Mike Jacobs did hit ropes.
Chris, all for one, one for all. Is that the pact we made here?
That is true. Yeah, we got to go.
Okay, see you later.
All right, so you're going to leave me and Cody? That's right. The pact was if one of you goes, all of you goes.
You know, the first Marlins roper was Orestes Estrada in 1997 or 6 or something.
Don't forget
93.
Ugly too.
Christopher,
Get out of here.
Christopher had a door-sized poster of Orestes Estrada in his bedroom.
1993, though.
Well,
4 years later,
that's
you
right.
had the Estrada poster in your house?
Yeah, he was 6 years old in 93. So that was his first hero in sports.
Billy went to a Marlins old-timers game the other day, and Orestes was there, and he was only there for the old-timers game. Billy didn't stay for the actual game. He only wanted to go see old Marlins play softball.
Who could forget Carlos Delgado?
Oh, yeah.
What a stint down here.
What a roper.
All too forgotten.
Yep.
That's
Great
a good
stint.
It is a good one.
Mike, so what is it? If you had to go 1, 2, 3 on ropers in the history of the Marlins, Sheffield's number 1. He scared third base coaches.
Yeah, Sheffield was Stanton.
Stanton too.
Sheffield and Stanton are the obvious. The third would be a debate.
Who's getting third place? I'd nominate Cliff Floyd.
Cliff Floyd's a good one.
Don't go to sleep on Preston Wilson.
Preston could mash.
John Bowles once told me Preston Wilson is capable of hitting 55 home runs.
And John Bowles ain't never told a lie.
You got that right.
Wait. Okay.
Bug-eye Bowles.
Wait a minute. Let's sink into this Greg Cote analysis real quick here. The sentence you just heard from the archives of reporting was Greg Cote telling you, John Bowles once told me that Preston Wilson could hit 55 home runs. Right.
I thought that was an odd number.
It's an odd thing for you to remember.
Well, I mean, I don't speak to that many managers who brag that directly about the power potential of their hitters. I think anyone would say that about Stanton, but Preston Wilson, it just sort of, my ears perked, and I recall it.
Mike, how are we the show? How did this show get so old? And Stugotz, you're going to laugh at what Greg Cote just said and what just happened in your absence during your 2-minute penalty.
Okay.
Greg Cote was telling John Bowles stories, calling him bug-eyed Bowles.
I mean that lovingly, but he did have, big, wide eyes.
Yeah,
he did.
You know that.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah, it's known.
Greg Cote said that John Bug-eyed Bowles once told him that Preston Wilson could hit 55 home runs in a season. That's what the radio audience in South Florida got while you were sent away, banished to penalty. Greg Cote going in the archives 25 years to get a John Bowles quote.
It is arcane information to remember. I'll give you that.
John Bowles ain't never tell a lie.
Bowling it.
Hi, everyone. Stugotz here. Support for the Dan Le Batard Show podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you are confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, and your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you the same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. Rocket Mortgage is simple, allowing you to fully understand all the details and be confident you are getting the right mortgage for you. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz. That's rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz, STUGOTZ, equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLS consumeraccess.org number 3030.
Dan Le Batard.
You okay, John?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was going to ask that. Is everything okay?
Oh, cough. No, I have allergies, so it makes me cough.
Okay, no problem.
Stugotz.
You okay?
Yeah, are you okay?
Yeah. You okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. How about you?
I'm fine.
Thanks for your concern.
You've
never met.
Thanks for yours.
I've never had anyone I've never met this concerned over me and my health, so I appreciate it.
Okay, man, I'm a big fan, man. I'm concerned about it.
It's funny, John.
No, I'm not okay. How do you do that?
Finally.
You don't care how I'm doing anyway. What the hell are you asking me for? You don't really care.
It's so true.
You don't even know me.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
You know, I don't get why Dan has opened the last few shows saying you're hosting a local sports radio show in Miami. What do you talk about? Because the moments that you're not talking LeBron, and let's face it, everyone's talking LeBron all the time, you're talking about Canes football, obviously, because this is a top 10 team preseason ranks, according to any of the publications that are trusted with this sort of stuff. And there's a bit of a quarterback battle this season. I don't know if you're aware, but I was saying towards the end of the season that that Orange Bowl performance from Malik Rozier was probably the last time you were going to see him play quarterback for the Miami Hurricanes. Right. I'm ready to admit right now I was wrong. Oh. And I'm not that bummed about it because I know exactly what Malik Rozier is, for better or for worse. Malik Rozier, are you all right, Greg?
I am. Thank you, and I'm sorry.
You good?
Well, like I'm not here.
Well, it sounds like you want in on this conversation.
Yeah.
Because I know you're a Canes guy.
Yeah, follow the team.
And I know that you're at every spring practice, and you got so many great sources out there.
Yeah, hardly at any spring practices.
Your finger is on the pulse.
I'm pulsing it.
Of what's going on.
Right. Looking forward to that Paradise Camp coming up in late July.
In Coral Gables. Mm-hmm. Malik Rozier is going to be your starting quarterback, at least for this first game against LSU.
Right.
And that probably makes the most sense because I know a lot of people had high hopes about Perry. Perry not necessarily doing what he needed to do to win that job. In fact, Williams is really pushing him in terms of how good Williams looks as a true freshman. Now, there's a trust issue with how much Williams can grasp the offense. But we may even see Williams a little bit this season because I don't know if you read about this new redshirt rule.
Yes.
Very beneficial. Lord knows Miami could have used that towards the end of the year where now you can play up to 4 games and not burn a red shirt. You can still be redshirted even if you've appeared in 4 fewer games.
Yeah, coaches must love that rule because it allows them to basically test drive a player who they're not sure about.
Yeah, but I think more coaches are going to turn it into recruiting promises.
Mm-hmm.
I think this only helps the big programs. And you can say as a top 10 preseason ranked team, the Miami Hurricanes are one of these teams, and it's a big season. Lots of great fixtures this season, including the Shipping Container Derby, FIU versus Miami. Let's just get it out there right now. The parking lot's going to be lit.
It's going an L. I don't know. Why do you think this team's going to be so good? LSU could be an L week 1 already. Then you have 2
No,
games.
wait, hang on. We'll go game by game.
Yeah,
Right.
LSU.
LSU.
L. Possible L.
No.
Possible L.
Neutral site game.
Yeah.
Lord knows Ed Orgeron's always on the hot seat when he actually has a job and is not a fill-in, right?
Former Canes assistant coach.
This season could go sideways on LSU. In fact, I think this first game is an opportunity for cocky Canes fan to eke one out, start feeling themselves, and then maybe towards the end of the year, you might point to that game and say, I'm not sure how good of a win that was because I could see the season going real south for LSU if they lose this game.
Which is why that loss is going to be even worse.
So it's the perfect opener. It's a big name school we're playing that might not be as good as
it's a great opener, and it really boosts our non-conference schedule.
That's what they're saying about UM also, by the way, just so we're on the same page. LSU's saying this is a team, top team, and then if we win this game, then we can maybe look back and not so good.
Is LSU in the preseason rankings?
They're not as high as the University of Miami.
They're in the top 20. The one I'm looking at has UM at 11 and has LSU at like 18.
This is a massive, massive game. I bought my tickets. By the way, airlines, I know what you're doing here recently. With the U being back, you're jacking up all sorts of prices. It cost me my ring finger to go to Charlotte for the ACC championship game. Yeah, now I'm going to Dallas, which I was told is an American Airlines hub. I'm going American Airlines hub to American Airlines hub. I got to connect through Tampa because because it's such a mission to get out there and support this football team. The travel industry does not want you to support the Miami Hurricanes. It's not a waste of money. Not a waste of money. I hear this is going to be such an epic moment for the University of Miami because they have a primetime game Sunday night leading into your Labor Day holiday. You are going to be feeling yourself so hard when you win this game. Cover your kids' ears because you're going to be feeling yourself hard.
And if you lose?
If you lose, that's a good team. That's a quality opponent, and it's early in the season, and that's what you want. If you're going to lose one game, you want to lose that first game. You absolutely want to lose that first game. There's plenty of time to bounce back. I only see upside from taking this game, but we're not going to lose because this team. Did you see these 40 times? Greg, I know you're out there. I know you've seen these 40 times.
Yeah, I have, and they're almost too good to be true.
You don't believe them?
I mean,
that's very Billy of you.
You know, when you have multiple guys supposedly in the 4-2s, wow, that's either really impressive or makes you go,
Billy, T.O. yesterday made some news
I saw that.
Twitter because he ran a 4.4.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. T.O., if he were a University of Miami running back, he'd be the slowpoke of the group.
Whoa. Yeah, but he's like 50.
Did you see the video, though? That did not look like a 4.4.
It was on 2 stopwatches. What are you talking about?
He looked old.
Lingard, true freshman from Central Florida. 5-star recruit. This guy was unbelievable in high school. His high school film isn't really that fun to watch because he's just blowing past everybody. No, this is a true freshman recruit that's going to get playing time. Lorenzo Lingard. And you have Travis Homer, who looks for contact, but is also speedy, a complete back. He runs 4.3. DJ Dallas has slowed down a little bit, but you know why he slowed down a little bit at 4.4 speed?
Why?
Because he has put on about 30 pounds of pure muscle.
Pure muscle.
I am so excited about this team. You have the two-headed monster, freshman tight end monster. Things are looking so good. I'm a little worried about the offensive line because they're getting a bit beat up by this amazing defensive line, which is probably, arguably, one of, if not the best, D-line attacks in the nation.
We did this last year with that D-line, didn't we?
Yeah, and it proved to be true. That was one of the better defensive lines in the nation. They got banged up towards the end of the year. Now, I'm a little worried about the defensive tackle position because you've lost some big pieces to the NFL there. But off the edge, we're as good as anybody in the nation outside of maybe Clemson. And you have, obviously, your linebacking core. It's going to be easy against Toledo. I was worried about that game last year.
No, it's not. No,
it's going to be easy.
It's 11-3.
Toledo lost their quarterback.
They're sneaky good.
No, Toledo. Remember last year I was super scared of Toledo. I was terrified of Toledo.
I'd stay scared of them.
I'm not scared of Toledo.
I have a question for you.
Wait, so Toledo was 11-3 last year, and they're sneaky good.
Yeah.
But Miami was what last year, and we're not good?
They're not that. No, I'm
trying
saying
to listen to your
you're
logic.
taking these people for granted.
Oh.
Don't take them for granted. They had the same record as you.
I didn't take Toledo for granted last year. I'm absolutely taking them for granted this year because what did I say
you're
last year?
Up for
last year was about finding out if we were a year away from being a year away.
So now you're a year away?
And no.
Last year you were a year away.
Greg, you good?
You good?
I'm good. Thanks.
Greg.
Yeah,
so we went into into last season with the hope that, hey, let's find out if we're a year away from being a year away. And you know what we found out?
What?
We're just a year away.
Wow.
And
so
guess what this year?
Next year.
No.
Oh, this
Last
year's the
year became we're a year away.
Oh, this year's the year.
So now,
got it.
This is the year.
We're a year early.
Let me write that down.
Yeah.
Where's the national championship? Let me book my tickets now.
Where is the national championship this
doesn't
year?
matter. Please don't buy tickets. Don't waste your money on that. You've spent more money traveling on this team than you would have on tuition if you went there. Don't buy national championship tickets.
It's right near the student section, so I get to feel like I actually went there.
I'm glad you brought that up because I actually have a question. I'm looking now at this FIU game, which, by the way, another sneaky L. But what's like the least obnoxious section that I could get tickets in? Because I don't want to be
at the Rock.
Yeah,
there is no such thing. There is no such thing. It's why it became such a hostile atmosphere. Billy. It's why they went undefeated in, I'm not counting the Orange Bowl because technically that's a neutral site game. Neutral site game, okay? That Wisconsin loss doesn't count against a home record. Neutral site game.
Where's the student section? I want to be as far away from that.
Student section's in, I forget which end zone, but it's in an end zone.
Avoid the end.
You probably want to be near the FIU band.
Well, don't worry. FIU's also going to avoid the end zone because we're working them silly.
Okay.
Man, it's a bit of a weird schedule because there's like a stretch where all their games take place in like about a month. And then they go on the road for a very long time, and then they come back for Thanksgiving for the revenge game when we beat down Pitt for how they ruined our season.
Do you guys talk to your Uber drivers?
What? No, I don't talk to my Uber drivers. I only talk back to my Uber drivers.
I Ubered yesterday, and I'm sitting in the car, and there was just this awkward...
Where'd you go?
Just to dinner with my wife.
Oh, okay.
Why'd you Uber?
Because, couple cocktails.
Where's your baby?
Being watched.
Okay.
Jeez.
You don't have to ask him so many questions.
I mean, geez.
I don't think he just left the baby on the sofa somewhere.
She was sleeping.
Does she not eat dinner? Why didn't you take her? Where'd you go to eat?
Chili's.
Oh, okay. What'd you, 2 for 20?
2 for
2 for 20.
2 for 20, 2 for 1.
Now the Uber is making a little bit more.
What'd you get?
I went, this is one of these things that I convinced myself that I'm eating healthy, but if you look at the calories, it's one of the worst things on the menu, the quesadilla explosion salad.
Nothing named explosion.
It is a salad, but it has it's a mountain of food. It has little quesadillas around the rim of it. Have you guys had the quesadilla salad?
No. The explosion salad? No.
Oh my God, it is delightful. But back to Uber drivers. Do you talk to your Uber drivers? Because this is like an awkward interaction. Billy, you're not a talker.
I've been in Uber like 3 times.
What?
Yeah, total. I don't Uber.
What, you're a Lyft guy?
No, I've done that. The only time that I don't even have a rating on Uber because I haven't been in Ubers enough to get a rating. So I don't know.
My rating is terrible.
Yeah, I don't know what my rating is. But I've only gone on it a couple times.
I just think that talking to it's always an awkward interaction because I always get in the car, I'm like, hey, how's it going? And it's up to the Uber driver whether it stops there.
I'm with you.
And it's a quiet ride the rest of the way, or there's just these conversations. And
if you were an Uber driver, what would you do?
I would probably give the pleasantries and then let them.
Would you be like one of these crazy Uber drivers that I hear about that have like the karaoke in the car and all the lights?
I love
that. Just seems like too much.
It's a good option to have.
Thank you.
I love that.
Do you know in advance? Like if you're getting picked up from somewhere, you're like, oh, I'm going to get like an annoying driver today.
No,
oh God.
No.
So that could be like a surprise. Like surprise! It's the party Uber.
They don't just put it on though. They wait for the right setting. If they're picking a group up late at night and they've had fun and they're coming from somewhere, then they're like, hey, I have this option for you. I don't think many Ubers are like shoving that down your throat.
It's like you step in and all of a sudden you're in cash cab. It's like there's no prize money.
This is commonplace. I've heard of these things, but I've never actually been in one. The ones that are clutch. And I told you about my weekend bender, right? Yeah. I had 1% over at Fritz and Franz. I desperately needed to get an Uber. I landed in the perfect Uber. Yeah. This Uber had phone chargers. This Uber had water ready and a totally silent driver. This is a perfect situation for your boy Mike. It is an automatic 5 stars. And I'm very liberal with the 5 stars. It's either 5 stars or 0 stars.
Did you drink their water? Did you drink the water?
I did drink the water.
That makes me nervous.
Wow, Japan just goes up 2-1.
Why is it 0 stars?
It's hard playing soccer with 10 guys. Let me just say that. Yeah. Especially when you're playing against 11. That's what you call a disadvantage. Yeah. Yes, so the water bottles are very clutch, and yes, I will drink every single one of those. No, these were room temp. But Billy, room temp water is the way to go. Cold water slows down your digestive system. It's been proven. If you go to Europe, they're only drinking room temp.
Oh no,
I prefer cold water.
Make ice.
Easily.
I prefer cold water too, but I acknowledge the fact that room temp is better for me.
I honestly didn't even know that.
Yeah, room temp is better for you.
You're learning me right now.
Yeah, put it on the poll. Is room temperature water better for you?
Is room temperature water gross? Is going to be the poll.
You can put that up as a follow-up poll. I understand that. I understand all of it, but chilled water.
That's too much. Why are these people?
Do you go ice? Because Europe, they don't go ice.
Yeah, well,
they don't go ice just in general. Yeah, you order a soda, they'll put 2 ice cubes in.
I love an iced cold drink.
So what do they drink hot everything? Get out of here.
I don't know why. Is there an ice shortage in Europe?
No, it's water. Ice is just frozen water, right?
I understand. I'm joking. I'm kidding around. I'm just joshing you. I don't know. I just don't know why Europeans are just so stingy when it comes to the ice cubes.
I think
every time I go to Europe, I have to say, please, a little bit more ice cubes.
The water bottle in the Uber is too much. They're trying too hard.
No, man, they're perfect. No. This guy was a godsend.
And he's losing money. The Uber driver, or she, is losing money on all this stuff they're investing into their Uber. They don't make that much.
Make more money if they take a bunch of short drives or if they take a long drive. What's the preference?
I always do short drives.
No, I always think that they want the long one.
No, it's a bunch of short drives because they maximize the number of trips, so they get paid more. That was one of the conversations that I had in an Uber once.
Wow.
I could be wrong about that,
there's good things that come.
You're chatting them up.
Like some guy decides, it's not worth me driving, 30 minutes into the secluded area where I'm not going to get someone else. They'd rather take shorter drives into more populated areas where they're going to get other rides really quick.
Why do we josh people?
Yeah, that's a good question.
You josh people and you Jimmy people.
I've never heard Jimmy.
No,
Jimmy a lock.
Yeah, no. Because
I thought you shimmy a lot.
Then why does in Pulp Fiction? In Pulp Fiction, John Travolta says, "Don't Jimmy me, Jules. Don't Jimmy me, Jules." Is he being jimmied?
Is it worse to be jimmied or joshed?
Jimmied, considering the tone. Josh seems lighthearted. Put that on the poll. Is it worse being jimmied or joshed?
Is your home an ADT home? If not, you have to get ADT and help protect against break-ins, fire, and carbon monoxide. For a limited time, get ADT's lowest rate starting at just $28.99 a month from the most trusted name in home security. Go to ADT.com/podcast to take advantage of ADT's lowest rate.
With 36-month monitoring contract, early termination and installation fees apply. Excludes taxes and fees. Applies to traditional services only. Certain markets excluded. Licenses available at ADT.com.
Dan Le Batard.
Billy, what is your top 5 people you want to see wake up in the morning because you want to see what they look like?
In no particular order.
No, they have to be in a particular order.
All right, fine. In particular order.
Number 5, Billy.
Stugotz.
Mel Kiper Jr.
Number 4, Billy.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Number 3, Billy.
Anderson Cooper.
Number 2, Billy.
John Travolta.
That'd be great. Creepy. That thing he wears on his head is gonna crawl out of the closet onto his head. And the number 1 person that you want to see in the morning is
Beyonce. I want to know if she woke up like this.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
Stugotz and Mike Ryan, such degenerates. They are now lost for the show. Rare is the 9:40 in the morning event that takes 2 guys out on their enthusiasm, but Mike and Stugotz both get buried with Japan over Colombia because they're degenerates, and now the rest of the show will suffer because of it.
Oh, Dan, do not count us out. We are going to rise like a phoenix from the ashes when Poland and Senegal get going because Daddy and Uncle need both teams to score.
Chasing it. Yeah. I'm going to double down on that one, man.
Yeah, double or nothing. And we get plus juice on that bad boy. What? We got great goal scorers. We got Mane, Lewandowski.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, easy prop.
Mike. Both teams need to score?
Both teams.
Oh, God.
I took Egypt, Russia. I need a 2-2 draw.
Why don't you want the exacta prop?
Oh, yeah.
That's going to pay. That's going to pay very well.
What time does that kick off?
Been playing like a little bit of anti-football, and that's a ballsy bet.
You bet that they would tie 2-2?
Yeah.
It's never going to happen.
What kind of odds did you get?
These are so dumb.
There was a great prop yesterday that I was thinking about taking, and I passed up because it was 450-1. Harry Kane scores the first goal, and England win 2-1. That's what happened. Wow. I mean, seriously.
Man, how about that Kane?
Such great
odds.
Is
gambling legal? I don't think it's legal.
Oh, I just Venmoed my buddy in Delaware. It's all good.
Yeah. I tell you, Kane was able.
Oh, God, that's great.
Uh-oh.
Awesome.
As soon as he walked out the door.
Yeah!
Woo! Stu, I got 3 entertainment purposes to win 60.
Hold on. What happened?
3 entertainment purposes to win 60. 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw. What time does that game kick off?
2.
2 o'clock. Wait, Mike, are there any other? Because we have the next game is 11 o'clock, or next bet. I should say.
Both teams to score.
Right. Are there any other 11 o'clock kickoffs?
No. This is the only 11 o'clock kickoff today, and then the 2 o'clock game. So right now, I'm rooting against Chris Cote's bet because I'm looking at that under in that Egypt Uruguay game.
You can have it all though. You could bet the under and then do the goof 2-2 tie.
No,
I think I'm going to do that.
That's a
Mike. Think of the odds though.
I mean, you can cover your losses. Go very light on that 2-2. Why are you even going 2-2?
It's just a fun.
That's my strategy. You put a little entertainment purposes on something to win big.
It's Russia versus Egypt. I'm sorry, I said Uruguay, Egypt earlier.
That's a fun.
Uruguay and Egypt played 1-0. There was only a goal in like the 90th minute in that game.
They're due.
Neither team looked like they wanted to score in that one. Egypt playing anti-football, but you may have the return of Mo Salah, who's one of the best players in the world. He didn't play at all. There's going to be a goal scored in that game. There's going to be 2 goals scored.
Hopefully
in that
4.
Game. I don't know if they're going to be 4. I'm on the fence about this one.
4, but you want 2. Right. Not 3-1, not 4-0. Right.
Betting
2-2,
unders, betting unders in soccer are amazing because you're winning for so long. You're
Right.
winning for at least 75 minutes of the game.
What would be an extraordinarily high over-under for soccer? Do you ever see like 6.5 as a...
No.
What's the highest you've seen?
The highest I can remember betting was 5.5.
Bet over?
No, I don't recall, but you never see a 6. Never see a 6 in soccer.
I think I'm going to take Chris's 2:00 bet here. I do. It's just more fun.
What? Don't you want to see how you're doing on the Poland-Senegal game to see if you want to chase?
It's a lock. You told me it's a lock. You're the soccer
That's my
guy.
favorite. That's my favorite bet. I knew that this Colombia game was going to be really dangerous.
I mean, you're up for one in your locks today, so I
didn't say Colombia was a lock.
You're due.
I didn't say Colombia was a lock. I said I felt good about the price that we were getting, understanding that this was going to be a game that was probably going to be decided in the end. I didn't account for Carlos Sanchez getting a straight red in 3 minutes into the game. That was not cool by him. What Carlos Sanchez did to earn that straight red was Japan got a really effective counter. There was a little fight for the ball. The Japanese forward blew past the Colombian defender and had a clear shot to the goal. There was one shot and then a rebound, I believe, to a wide open Japanese midfielder who had a wide open net because the goalie had come out to try to stop the counter attack, and Carlos Sanchez stuck his hand out. And by the way, Chris Cote pointed it out to me as it happened. I'm not so sure this ball would have been on target. It looked like it was about to sail. Carlos Sanchez to try to prevent the goal, which is just idiotic. Just go down 1-0 and keep yourself in the game. Sticks his hand out on purpose to knock the ball down and prevent it from going in. Not only does that give Japan a PK that they easily convert, but it also sends off one of the most important players to Colombia's system, the spine of their team, Carlos Sanchez, not only for this game, but for the next game as well. Straight red.
Why does James have his first name on his jersey?
James.
Yeah, why is James?
I don't understand because I don't understand. That's not really a Colombian thing. I don't think. I guess for marketing, it's kind of.
I don't like these jerseys. Colombia's had some cool jerseys, and these are not them.
I don't think
there's
these
been
either.
No good jerseys this World Cup that I've seen so far. I've watched all the games.
Japan has a really sick kit. I really like Japan. Japan always brings it.
A sick what?
Kit. They're called kits. Yeah, I was going to explain that to Billy.
Yeah, gotta get the new
they have like pinstripes, but they're like broken up pinstripes, right? They look like ants.
No, they're
lines
dots.
of ants.
And they're dots, actually. They're little polka dots.
My favorite single name player of all time, Fred.
There's been several Freds. In fact, there's a Fred.
I like the middle Fred.
There's a Fred on Brazil right now that just signed for Manchester United. Actually, I love that you guys are getting into soccer. And you know what? I'm
getting angry at soccer.
I look forward to coming into the show. I like going to the shows when these games are going on. Yeah. It's exciting. It gives us some content. I know we ignored it completely yesterday.
I like the officials jersey. Do they sell those? That one's cool.
I love the beautiful game.
Another fake injury. This guy.
You know, diving has been way down. I'm sure people probably just watch Neymar, and that dude flops all over the place. But diving's been way down with the introduction of VAR because they know that they don't have to embellish as much. And there's actually a real concentration. I was listening to this on Chris Winningham's Pitch Invasion podcast that the American audience is very down on flopping. So FIFA and the governing bodies around the world are trying to reduce the amount of flopping in the sport to appeal to such a large demo.
That's a bad move by
flopping,
FIFA.
I think, is worse in the women's game from what I've seen.
No.
It is?
No, not
Have
at
you
all.
ever watched the Brazilian women's national team? It's an outrage.
Have you watched the Brazilian men's? When I'm saying that there's less flopping, Neymar is out there still flopping like a fish.
Brazilians are the worst, right? Or Italians? Brazilians are the worst.
Brazilians are the worst, but I'm telling you, if you watch regularly, flopping is way down to the point that you barely notice it.
Someone's tracking it? I mean,
it's just your eyes. I could understand what the plight of the American sports fan that was trying to give this a fair shot, and they watch all these other physical sports here, and like, come on, he didn't even hit him because it was part of the game that you had to roll down and embellish to get a call. There was such an advantage. I mean, these calls, like a red card in that sport, is so huge and massive.
Mike, do you realize that Greg Cote, seriously, there is nowhere in sports media where Greg Cote is more of an authority than the origins of soccer in South Florida. Greg Cote, you laugh.
That's his wheelhouse?
That is Greg Cote's wheelhouse. He grew up as a reporter at the Miami Herald back when newspapers did that sort of thing.
Sure.
Covering the Fort Lauderdale Strikers.
Right. Yeah, and before that, the Miami Gatos and Miami Toros. And I remember when Pelé, with his team then Santos of Brazil, played an exhibition in the Orange Bowl.
Wait, there was a team called the Miami Cats?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Gatos became the Toros. Yeah, the Bull.
What happened to them, then?
They became the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. They moved
I
up
think
the
you
road.
guys should spend 5 minutes right now interviewing Greg Cote, South Florida's most noteworthy authority on all things origins of soccer in this town.
I know he's got a good relationship with the golden voice of color commentary on soccer.
Mm-hmm, yeah, Rocky Ray Hudson. Fantastic little player. I met Ray Hudson when he first came over in late 76, heading into the 77 season. He was as white as a milk bottle, coming from a small town in England, with a huge, thick accent, even more so than it is now. And the most colorful quote I've ever covered. Ray Hudson admitted to me once that he spent time during the match, like the match is going on, he's dribbling the ball, and he's already imagining what he's going to say in the post-game locker room based on the way the match is going.
Former manager for the Miami Fusion, as he called it.
Right.
Were you on the Fusion beat?
Not per se, but I certainly went to matches at Lockhart Stadium.
Have you seen what's happened to Lockhart Stadium? I saw a picture roll across my timeline. It looks like Jumanji out there. The field has grown all sorts of out of control. It looks like an abandoned building. It probably is.
Yeah.
Because they don't really have events out there. It looks insane.
Right. That was the last straw for the what became of the Fort Lauderdale Strikers when they finally moved from Lockhart Stadium to a small stadium in Lauderhill, and that was the end of the era officially. Although the Strikers' heydays were 76 through about 82 or 3.
What do you make of this Beckham group? They had their stadium site after years of looking for it. Then Jorge Mas comes aboard and almost thinks he's too good for this Overtown spot. And now they're going all in on the Melreese golf course, which to me seems impossible considering how many powerful people frequent that golf course. Lots of judges, lots of attorneys, lots of wealthy business people that don't really care for Jorge Mas trying to cut into their leisure time.
They need to make a decision and put the golden shovel in the ground and get started, because if they wait too much longer, they're at risk of having to play not one but 2 seasons in temporary housing.
Oh, I think the temporary stadium is going to be a more long-term thing.
Right.
Considering
As of
this.
right
I
now.
just don't understand. You toil for so long, and you finally get through all the red tape in this banana republic here while you're self-financing, and you finally get your stadium site, even though it's flawed because there's no parking. It's in a part of town that nobody really goes to for certainly these sorts of things. And then you turn your back on all of that and try to run up the score once you finally get clearance and go to a golf course? A golf course?
Yeah, Beckham wasted, looking back on it, Beckham wasted a couple of years trying to realize his dream, which was a waterfront stadium. I mean, when they held the announcement that he was in the group down here, they held it at the Perez Art Museum, where the backdrop is cruise ships and seaplanes and in just a beautiful vista, and that's where he wanted his stadium. That's what he envisioned. It would have been idyllic. But it never came to fruition, and then it's been a scramble ever since to find an acceptable place.
I feel like Miami, wherever this stadium goes, we're fairly confident we have a team because the announcement happened. And however long, I kind of feel Billy is sort of being sarcastic, Billy, but I kind of get it here because this has been such a roller coaster.
When are they supposed to start?
2020 is when they're supposed to start. And Lord knows that was pushed back. It feels like a decade ago when Beckham had that first press conference at PAM. Mm-hmm. And I don't really know where this ends. I have a feeling it's just going to end up at Overtown, and hopefully that decision comes soon. I know they're trying for some sort of November referendum when it comes to Melreese. But when this thing does get going, I think Miami's going to turn out for this team in a way that's going to shock the nation.
I
really
do. And I think that between the Beckham name and the locale, this is a market that can really attract quality players.
Oh, absolutely. You've seen it already with Leo Messi putting out videos. Lord knows there's all sorts of relationships between Beckham, Adidas, and all these. Ronaldo has been vocal about playing much longer. By the way, Japan, that goes final. 2-1. Colombia's World Cup might have ended before it really began.
High-scoring game.
Yeah, 3 minutes into their World Cup, they lose their central defensive midfielder, and they lose 2-1, a game that they had to have in a tough group.
So what's the next bet? What's the next bet?
Both teams to score, Senegal and Poland. We got Lewandowski, we got Mane. We're going to get a high-scoring affair.